Hello, my name is Eboni Leassear, and I am a student at Texas A&M Commerce, majoring in organizational leadership, and this is my video presentation to explain what I've learned in my studies. The first class I want to speak about is issues in organizational leadership. Now let's define what organizational leadership is about. This course offers an overview of issues related to organizational leadership, including the definition of organizations, theories of leadership, and the characteristics and behaviors of leaders, as well as varying contexts under which leaders may perform. Now, for an example, I have a manager that's not an effective communicator, and in her abilities to lead, she's not clear on her expectations. There's been an instance where I have been late to my shift and I was following company procedures by calling in and letting someone know that I was going to show up late. I did that, and upon my arrival, I was approached that I did something incorrect. So, in our conversation or in our meeting, she did not actually tell me what I did wrong. And in this, I was looking for her to effectively communicate me what she expected from me. She did not tell me that I was wrong for anything, but she did go over the subject and start talking about other things. I was looking for her to either reprimand me or seek some type of consequence. So I felt like I was asking her to manage me. And so in this process, I was asking her, okay, are you going to reprimand me moving forward? What are we going to do about this? And she wasn't clearly telling me what she was going to do. And so me, as I'm supposed to be the one that's being managed, I felt like that wasn't necessary for me to tell her, okay, what do you need to tell me? What do you expect from me? And so she could never do this. So I was trying to get out of her, like, tell me what your expectations, what do you want from me? Put your foot down and, and effectively communicate to me, the expectations of my role here. And so at the end of the conversation and meeting with her, she did clearly define what she expected from me. But I felt like, as the leader, these are things that you should know. And you should be able to effectively communicate with others about what you expect from them. And so I felt like this was an issue as a manager to effectively lead in an organization. Now, what I learned from that situation is to listen first and then give feedback on if she felt like she was doing a good job or if she felt like she was telling me what to do. I felt like I constructively told her what she should do with me. And as a leader, that's not being effective. My next course is data-driven decision making. And let me tell you more in depth about this. The course examines the role of quantitative data in managerial and entrepreneurial decision making. The course draws upon quantitative tools and analysis from several disciplines. It demonstrates the usefulness of tools and analyzes in providing optimal technical options in decision-making situations. The emphasis of the course is on the interpretation and translation of data into information for the benefit of internal and external consumers. So, for example, I'm going to give you another example from my current manager. He manages based on strategy, information, and data. And to explain this better, his style of communication is through data. So there are things that he expects for you to do on your job, but he doesn't necessarily feel the need to effectively stand over you and tell you what he expects from you. These are things that you should know. And so his ability to lead is driven by what you produce. And it's only strategic. And so in HR, in my role, I have to produce work, and I deal with a lot of data. And with this helps make decisions or effective decisions for the organization. The next course I want to go into is behavior ethics and leadership. And what it means is this course provides an examination of ethics in the workplace and the role of organizational leaders in fostering ethical behavior. Case studies, discussion, self-assessment exercises, and reading assignments explore the basic frameworks of ethical dealings and moral leadership. Students will demonstrate a competency in critical thinking skills to both identify and remedy ethical issues typically encountered in organizational settings and interactions. So, what exactly does this mean? Let's define ethics. And that focus point is mainly being honest. This involves just doing the right thing, doing what you're supposed to do, you know right from wrong. And to make the organization better, you always want honest workers. And so in this leadership theory, you want an honest leader. And when they lead people, you want people to follow you. And so to define ethics, for example, I am responsible for doing the payroll within my position. And with this, I take up timesheets. And there have been times where I've had workers that may have worked extra hours outside of their job description. And so with this, they have to turn in hours. But how do I know that they actually work these hours? And how do I know they work that many hours? And so with this, there's an integrity issue here because I don't know. So I have to trust the employee that they're telling me the truth, and then the organization has to trust me to make the adjustment. And so the employee turns in the timesheet and wants me to add hours that they've worked. So I find it necessary to go through the chain of command and get confirmation and approval from their supervisor that they actually work these hours. Because at the end of this process, I would be unethical, or I would be performing unethically if I just assumed hours and made these adjustments without confirming with anybody in upper management. And so I have to be honest within my position, as well as managing others and others turning in information or data to me to make those adjustments. Because when you work in an organization, integrity is one of the number one things that they value and they focus on. And they want to make sure that everybody in the organization is honest as well. And this just builds an effective organization. My next course taken is leadership theory. This course focuses on the leadership role within principles and practice of management of organizations. This course is designed to provide students with the knowledge and skills that can be used to analyze organizational processes and address challenges inherent in leading organizations, operations, and projects. Leadership theory is applied to practical problems in planning, organizing, and controlling workplace situations and activities. For example, I will speak on two employees. This will be employee A and employee B. And just to demonstrate the leadership theory, these employees were not being effective leaders. And so employee A did not demonstrate any goals for us as a team, and she didn't set expectations on things that she wanted us to accomplish. So as an effective leader, you have to know how to plan and strategically plan and organize your team or organize objectives and tasks that needs to be accomplished. And as a leader, you have to be able to control your team or control the situation so that we are producing results. And so at my job, for example, we are driven on sales. So we have sales quotas that need to be met daily and individually. And employee A does not understand how to effectively assign tasks and effectively plan to get those results. And so she spends most of her time eating and rewarding on unknown factors when we're not getting anything or we're not accomplishing what we're supposed to be accomplishing. And so I feel that she's not an effective leader and she's not doing what she's supposed to do. Employee B is not an effective leader. For example, in these sales, we have individual goals that we have to meet. So for an example, when I get to work, I may have to sell $1,000 a day. And so she doesn't let us know what our goals are. We pretty much are just going about our day how we usually would. And as a leader, she's supposed to let us know what's expected of us, our sales goals for that day, the structure of the company, and our customer base. Because the customers come first and we have to know how to talk to them and how to sell to them. So she's not effectively giving any guidance on planning and organizing company objectives. And so this hurts the structure of the organization, and it hurts our quota base, and it hurts the team because we're not producing positive results. And in that, there are consequences. And so they're just not being effective leaders. My next course is Leading Change. And to go in depth about this talks about the analysis of prevalent issues related to organizational change. So in human resources, at my job, we just took on a major software change for our payroll system and process. And in this, there were many employees that were not trained or didn't know how to function and navigate the new software. And there really wasn't too much engagement in taking on training classes. So it's either you knew it or you didn't. And so my organizational change involved this. I was aware and I knew about the software, and so I was stuck having to manage and effectively train other employees on how to navigate this software. And so as a leader, sometimes you have to take that step up and help out upper managers or superiors because they may not know, certain software, or they may not know certain things. So I took the initiative to step up and help with that software change process and the training and development that came with it, so that as an organization we can produce and we can do our payroll effectively. Now, in my capstone, this course requires an analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of the student's knowledge and skills, including academic performance, teamwork experience, and workplace experience. Using current information, technology, and resources, the student will construct a professional profile. Students use problem-solving skills to analyze, evaluate, and recommend an implementation plan addressing an organizational leadership issue or problem. A main factor in evaluating student performance is the input from multiple stakeholders, including employers and faculty. So in my capstone, I have been able to analyze leadership theories at my job. I can effectively communicate better, and I can effectively be an effective leader. And a part of being an effective leader, I have demonstrated the knowledge and skills and abilities to apply this to my everyday workday. And as a leader today, I have learned that I need to keep educating myself with effective training and knowledge to be a good leader. I understand what it means to be an effective leader. Some of the traits and qualities that I have encountered are being accountable, which is taking on responsibility and taking on risk, because there's a lot of risk associated with human resources. Communication, in this sense, I have the ability to motivate others, to contribute and produce, and achieve goals. I am an effective leader because I seek sensitive. I'm sensitive to the needs of the team and team members. I show genuine care and empathy for the team. I also am actively listening and really listening to see what the person is saying, which is very important in an organization. I am sensitive to deadlines, and I focus on results. Evaluation, I evaluate circumstances. Integrity is another effective trait that you would need to have in any type of organizational setting, because that means being honest. And last, to be profitable. In other words, help my organization make money. So where do I go from here? Straight to the top, because I know what it means to be an effective leader. Thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye now.